FEAR has two meanings: forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. The choice is yours. You do not determine your success by comparing yourself to others, rather you determine your success by comparing your accomplishments to your capabilities. Never blame anyone in your life. Good people give you happiness. Bad people give you experience. Worst people give you a lesson. And best people give you memories. You can get everything in life you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want. When you focus on problems, you get more problems. When you focus on possibilities, you have more opportunities. Life is an echo. What you send out comes back. What you sow, you reap. What you give, you get. What you see in others exists in you. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Speak in such a way that others love to listen to you. Listen in such a way that others love to speak to you. Most of the problems in life are because of two reasons: we act without thinking, or we keep thinking without acting. Life is about balance. Be kind, but don't let people abuse you. Trust, but don't be deceived. Be content, but never stop improving yourself. Always remember that your present situation is not your final destination. The best is yet to come. Success is not measured by what you do compared to what somebody else does. Success is measured by what you do compared to what you are capable of doing. Don't judge me by my past. I don't live there anymore. Don't let negative and toxic people rent space in your head. Raise the rent and kick them out. You were born to win, but to be a winner, you must plan to win, prepare to win, and expect to win. Getting knocked down in life is a given. Getting up and moving forward is a choice. If you don't plan your time, someone else will help you waste it. If you aim at nothing, you will hit it every time. If you are selective about the things you choose to read, look at, or listen to, then you are taking effective action against negative thinking. It's just like with a computer: if you change the input, you will change the output. You are free to choose, but the choices you make today will determine what you have, be, and do in the tomorrow of your life. Be strong, but not rude. Be kind, but not weak. Be bold, but not bully. Be humble, but not timid. Be proud, but not arrogant. You never know when one act or one word of encouragement can change a life forever. When you look at the possibilities instead of the problems, the future is filled with endless opportunities. A good life is when you assume nothing, do more, smile often, dream big, laugh a lot, and realize how blessed you are for what you have. God sees everything at once and knows what you are called to do. Our part is not to play God, but to trust God, to believe that our single, solitary life can make a difference in the blink of an eye. Everything can change. So forgive often and love with all your heart. You may not have that chance again. God never shuts one door without opening a bigger, better door. Hang in there. You are closer to success than you may think. Life is an echo. What you send out comes back. What you sow, you reap. What you give, you get. What you see in others exists in you. Regardless of who you are or what you do, if you are looking for the best way to reap the most reward in all areas of life, you should look for the good in every person and in every situation, and adopt the golden rule as a way of life. It takes energy, mental toughness, and spiritual reinforcement to successfully deal with life's opportunities and to reach your objectives. Integrity gives you real freedom because you have nothing to fear, since you have nothing to hide. Life is too short to spend your precious time trying to convince a person who wants to live in gloom and doom otherwise. Give lifting that person your best shot, but don't hang around long enough for his or her bad attitude to pull you down. Instead, surround yourself with optimistic people. Life is too short to spend your precious time trying to convince a person who wants to live in gloom and doom otherwise. Give lifting that person your best shot, but don't hang around long enough for his or her bad attitude to pull you down. Instead, surround yourself with optimistic people. Success is not a destination, it is a journey. The happiest people I know are those who are busy working toward specific objectives. The most bored and miserable people I know are those who are drifting along with no worthwhile objectives in mind. I move forward in my life every day, even if it's only a tiny step, because I know that great things are accomplished with tiny moves, but nothing is accomplished by standing still. Our problem is that we make the mistake of comparing ourselves to other people. You are not inferior or superior to any human being. You do not determine your success by comparing yourself to others. Rather, you determine your success by comparing your accomplishments to your capabilities. You are number one when you do the best you can with what you have. Don't start your day with broken pieces of the past. Yesterday ended last night. Today is a brand new day, and it's yours. I have no way of knowing whether or not you married the wrong person. But I do know that if you treat the wrong person like the right person, you could well end up having married the right person after all. It is far more important to be the right kind of person than it is to marry the right person. You cannot solve a problem until you acknowledge that you have one and accept responsibility for solving it. First, say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do. Life is a grindstone. Whether it wears you down or polishes you up depends on what you are made of. Always do the right thing, always be exciting, always be encouraging, and always be learning something new. You can make positive deposits in your own economy every day by reading and listening to powerful, positive, life-changing content and by associating with encouraging and hope-building people. Discipline yourself to do the things you need to do when you need to do them, and the day will come when you will be able to do the things you want to do when you want to do them. The moment you begin to worry about the things you want and the things you don't have in life is the moment you will lose your gratitude. The greatest source of happiness is the ability to be grateful at all times. While 9 to 5 and what happens on the job is important, what happens from 5 to 9 off the job is infinitely more important. A second chance doesn't mean anything if you haven't learned from your first mistake. Possibly the greatest waste in life is the gap between what you are and what you could become. I win not because of my own efforts or my own goodness, but rather through the grace, love, and mercy of my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. He died so that I might win this game of life and live with Him forever. If God would have wanted us to live in a permissive society, He would have given us 10 suggestions and not 10 commandments. The best way to make your spouse and children feel secure is not with big deposits in bank account, but with little deposits of thoughtfulness and affection in the love account. Lack of direction, not lack of time, is the problem. We all have 24-hour days. When you are tough on yourself, life is going to be infinitely easier on you. The way you see your future determines your thinking today. Your thinking today determines your performance today. Your performance in the today of your life determines your future. When you are truly interested in other people, you will learn what they are interested in and if they have a need for your product. If they like you, and most people like folks who take an interest in them, they'll help you find people who do need what you have to sell, even if they don't. Life is too short to spend your precious time trying to convince the person who wants to live in gloom and doom otherwise. You are a success when you have made friends with your past, are focused on the present, and are optimistic about your future. I'm not going to give up, shut up, or let up until I'm taken up. As a matter of fact, I'm just getting warmed up. Remember that failure is an event, not a person. Give the world your best and you will get the best out of the world. It's not where you start or even what happens to you along the way that's important. What is important is that you persevere and never give up on yourself. The things you have that money won't buy are the things that will enable you to get more of the things that money will buy. I get lots of ideas when the lights go out at night and it gets very quiet. Sometimes they come when I first lie down to sleep, other times I wake up with an idea racing through my mind. But regardless of when an idea comes, I have made it a habit to get out of bed and write the idea down before it disappears into my dreams. You should do the same. If you can dream it, then you can achieve it. You will get all you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want. When there is hope in the future, there is power in the present, and since hope is the foundational quality of all change, there is considerable reason to be excited. When we change the input into our minds, we change the output into our lives. Success means doing the best we can with what we have. Success is the doing, not the gettings, in the trying, not the triumph. Success is a personal standard reaching for the highest that is in us, becoming all that we can be. If we do our best, we are a success. Success is the maximum utilization of the ability that you have. God showed me that He could and would replace everything that was missing in my life, but that nothing could replace Him in my life. Failure doesn't mean you are a failure. It just means you haven't succeeded yet. Failure is a detour, not a dead-end street. Success is like pumping an old well handle. You have to pump a very long time before you get water. But don't give up or you will have to start all over again. When we separate the word business into its component letters, B-U-S-I-N-E-S-S, we find that you and I are both in it. In fact, if you and I were not in business, it would not be business. Furthermore, we discover that you comes before I in business, and the I is silent. It is to be seen, not heard. Also, the you in business has the sound of I, which indicates it is an amalgamation of the interests of you and I. When they are properly amalgamated, business becomes harmonious, profitable, and pleasant. We need to understand the difference between discipline and punishment. Punishment is what you do to someone. Discipline is what you do for someone. I will live a hope-filled life every day. I will handle my problems as opportunities in a different, more effective manner, based on the power of advanced mathematics. U plus God equals enough. Successful people use their strength by recognizing, developing, and utilizing the talents of others. People do not wander around and then find themselves at the top of Mount Everest. Today is the tomorrow you were optimistic about yesterday. What are you doing today to make tomorrow as rewarding as you had hoped today would be? My core philosophy on winning and motivation is summed up by saying that you were born to win, but in order to be the winner you were born to be, you have to plan to win and prepare to win before you can expect to win. We cannot build our lives around what might happen tomorrow. The great majority of people are wandering generalities rather than meaningful specifics. The fact is that you can't bid a target that you can't see. If you don't know where you are going, you will probably end up somewhere else. You have to have goals. If you will be hard on yourself, life will be easy on you. But if you insist upon being easy on yourself, life is going to be very hard on you. Your faith is very important. I have done the math, and you are going to be dead a whole lot longer than you will be alive. When you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. When you do the right things in the right way, you have nothing to lose because you have nothing to fear. Of all the attitudes we can acquire, surely the attitude of gratitude is the most important and by far the most life-changing. Most of us would be upset if we were accused of being silly. But the word silly comes from the Old English word selig, and its literal definition is to be blessed, happy, healthy, and prosperous. Fortunately, problems are an everyday part of our life. Consider this: if there were no problems, most of us would be unemployed. Realistically, the more problems we have and the larger they are, the greater our value to our employer. A positive attitude and personal motivation allow you to remain excited about what you are doing, no matter how difficult the challenges may be day to day. If you wait until all the lights are green before you leave home, you'll never get started on your trip to the top. The person who dumps garbage into your mind will do you considerably more harm than the person who dumps garbage on your floor, because each load of mind garbage negatively impacts your possibilities and lowers your expectations. Why we are here is important, but to know where we are going is imperative. It's not what you've got, it's what you use, that makes a difference in how your life turns out. I believe that being successful means having a balance of success stories across the many areas of your life. You can't truly be considered successful in your business life if your home life is in shambles. When I discipline myself to eat properly, live morally, exercise regularly, grow mentally and spiritually, and not put any drugs or alcohol in my body, I have given myself the freedom to be at my best, perform at my best, and reap all the rewards that go along with it. It makes no difference where you go, there you are. And it makes no difference what you have, there's always more to want. Until you are happy with who you are, you will never be happy because of what you have. With children, love is spelled time. We build our character from the bricks of habit we pile up day by day. Spend time with those you love. One of these days you will say either, "I wish I had," or "I'm glad I did." I have always said that everyone is in sales. Maybe you don't hold the title of salesperson, but if the business you are in requires you to deal with people, you, my friend, are in sales. With integrity you have nothing to fear, since you have nothing to hide. With integrity you will do the right thing, so you will have no guilt. With fear and guilt removed you are free to be and do your best. Before a person can achieve the kind of life he wants, he must think, act, walk, talk and conduct himself in all of his affairs as with the person he wishes to become. Unless you have a definite, precise, clearly set goals, you are not going to realize the maximum potential that lies within you. For 24 years of my adult life, by choice, I weighed well over 200 pounds. I say by choice because you see I have never accidentally eaten anything. I suggest the greatest challenge to Christians in the business world is within making the hard determination to live by God's principles and sticking with it. Making the commitment to serving Christ and mankind with our efforts, our gifts, and our knowledge. One of the greatest disasters of our time is our universal acceptance of the word tolerance as a great virtue. It's our responsibility to see to it that the good outweighs the evil, and I am convinced beyond a doubt that today's Americans will do exactly that. In your hands you hold the seeds of failure or the potential for greatness. Your hands are capable, but they must be used and for the right things to reap the rewards you are capable of attaining. The choice is yours. Everyone knows what a hypocrite is. That's the guy who gripes about the sex, violence, and nudity on his VCR. You can literally force yourself to be courteous, happy, and enthusiastic with every person you meet. After you have forced yourself to be so for a short period of time, the habit takes over. The best recipe for happiness and contentment I've seen is this: dig a big hole in the garden of your thoughts and put into it all your disillusions, disappointments, regrets, worries, troubles, doubts, and fears. Cover well with the earth of fruitfulness. Water it from the well of contentment. Sow on top the seeds of hope, courage, strength, patience, and love. Then when the time for gathering comes, may your harvest be a rich and fruitful one. People always say motivation is great, but it doesn't last. I just tell them, bathing does not last either. That is why I recommend it daily. Time can be an ally or an enemy. What it becomes depends entirely upon you, your goals, and your determination to use every available minute. Great quotes make the light bulb go off in my mind. If you're like me, you'll jump at the chance to bypass all the churning and scoop the cream right off the top. That is what quotes are. The cream of our learning.